Everyone, Frank Gerard here. I'm really excited. I have a special guest here, Scott Allen. We're going to talk about marketing for restaurants. What sort of prompted this is we have a favorite place we used to go to, Bagels on Main here on Long Island. Has all kinds of food, not just bagels. And I've been trying to help them because, all these restaurants are in trouble. And, I mean, we all love to go to restaurants, and I'm trying to figure out how I can help them. And I've known Scott a lot of years, so I decided to invite him in to help my local restaurant and then to share this with others in our different communities. Just to tell you a little bit about Scott, he's been helping companies do business since 1984. In that time, he's helped hundreds of businesses from freelancers to Fortune 100 companies turn virtual relationships into real business. He started years and years ago. In 2005, he published something called The Virtual Handshake, and it was the first book on social media marketing. I remember that from years and years ago. And I think Scott was the first person on earth that got involved in social media and helping companies. He currently is the owner of two agencies, the Virtual Handshake agencies, which helps mid-market stage growth companies do social media at scale, and Bastrop Marketing, that's BASTROP, which focuses on helping businesses in his area grow businesses online. So Scott, thanks so much for joining us here today. Really excited to have you after all these years.
Frank, great to be here. Yeah, I have so many virtual friends that we've never met in person, but we've been doing Skype and video calls and keep reconnecting on whatever platform we happen to be on for years and years and years. So great to do this with you.
Great. So let me ask you some questions about all of this stuff. So I know you recently started Bastrop Marketing. You've worked online for years, as I've said, with clients all over the world. So what motivated you to start this agency with a focus now on local businesses?
Well, it's ironic because at this time when everybody is trying to figure out how to be digital first is now what I think of as the new normal, right? Is that you think about your business first about online, and maybe then how you move from there to face-to-face. And in this time of social distancing, I'm really feeling drawn more than ever to really get connected to my local community. I've worked from home for years, et cetera, like you said, and clients all over the world. But we are strangely in this time feeling more and more pull to support our local community. Even there's so much been messaging about restaurants, and it's like, we've got to support our local restaurants. We've been eating out. We've been picking up food at least probably an average of a meal a day, which we never did, before that. We might've been a couple of times a week, but precisely because of that thing of wanting to keep things flowing in the local economy. And then these companies that are trying to figure that out, that have only been doing everything face-to-face in person, I can help them, right? I'm sort of the first era of what would be, almost a digital native. Certainly my adult life has pretty much all been online. And so it's second nature to me, and things that I take for granted that I just know how to do because I've been doing it for 25 years. These companies are, still trying to figure out. So that mix of me wanting to connect to and support these local businesses and knowing that I can help them bridge into this digital first mode. And maybe restaurants aren't going to go global, but some of the other local businesses that are trying to figure out how can they sell online, how can they market online beyond just people coming into their storefront. So even that thing of just how do I even do e-commerce for a local store, companies that have restaurants that have never had online ordering, and trying to figure out how to do that, hopefully without having to give 30% of it away to Uber Eats or whatever, right? So that's really been the pull for me is to I'm kind of using the tagline local service, global reach. People who want someone to do business with someone that'll come and meet them in person and shake their hand. Maybe not today, but I'll come meet in person today. I may not shake their hand today, but that still want to have that local feel, but shift into that digital first mindset.
Got it. Let me ask you this. What are some of the challenges that local independent restaurants face that franchises don't face?
Well, the franchises, of course, they've got people at corporate that do all this stuff for them. The franchises have, they get online ordering. If you're the Whataburger or the Schlotzsky's or whatever, you've automatically got online ordering. You being the manager there, you don't have to do anything. You've got a location web page. You've got, people go to the site, they go to Burger King and they look up, Bastrop, and it comes up. Those organizations have also done all the work of like keeping up with Google Maps, right? If you go to Google Maps, you don't even have to put in restaurants. If you go to Google Maps and you just zoom in far enough and you start scrolling around, you will see all of the fast food restaurants because they've all been there for years and years and years, having proper Google Maps entries. So a lot of that stuff is taken care of for them. Now, I'll add that while that kind of mechanics are taken care of for the franchise businesses, that doesn't mean the franchise businesses shouldn't also have some local activity and local awareness, just like they run ads in the local paper. The franchises should also be thinking about having local social media, local engagement in online as well. But I think that's the biggest thing for the independents is that a lot of the technical mechanics are taken care of for them, and the independents don't get that. So you've either got to figure it out yourself, or you got to get someone to help you figure it out with you. Sort of the checklist of all those things that you need to be doing to appear correctly online and to reach and serve your customers.
Great. Listen, does the restaurant need its own website?
Yes, that's one of the biggest things I see. I see a lot of restaurants in my area have just resolved themselves to just doing a Facebook page, and that's all they have is a Facebook page for their restaurant. Your clients aren't all on Facebook. I know everybody thinks that everybody's on Facebook, but no, everybody is not on Facebook. There are people who hate Facebook and will absolutely not even set up an account there to be able to see your page and all the stuff you're posting to your page. When you are, if you're relying on Facebook, you look at what's on the page. If you go to the Facebook page and you see you've got a banner across the top, you've got the logo, and then you got a bunch of other junk, and then a post, and you've got advertising for your competitors, and you've got bright, shiny, you got shiny objects over here that are distracting people to do all kinds of other stuff. You need a Facebook page, because when people are there, you want to be able to engage with them, but you can't use it as your website. I guarantee you, no one can find your menu on your Facebook page. No one can find your menu on your Facebook page. I've seen half a dozen companies or restaurants around here, and no one can find it. So the people can't find what your customers can't find what they're looking for about your business on your Facebook page. So yeah, you've got to have your own website. Absolutely.
What should be on that website?
Well, there's a couple of key things that need to be on the website. First of all, again, thinking digital first as online ordering. And especially in this era of COVID-19, you must have a mechanism for doing online ordering. You can't expect that everyone's going to phone it in. So you've got to have that. The other thing is you should also just have your menu, even if you have the online ordering is not the best menu experience. there's a you have to dig through section by section by section. There's something really great about just being able to open up and see those two facing pages that you typically see on a menu, and
Mhm.
it just ain't that hard. You can take a picture of it. In fact, a lot of the what else are you going to do with it right now? Most of the places that are opening back up and that are even having partial dining room capabilities, you're not allowed to have your reusable menus. In fact, everybody's having to do printed single page, single use menus. You print out the page and you print out the page and you throw it away when that customer leaves. So you're already right now, if you're trying to open back up your dining room, you already have to have your menu in a ready to print format, whether it's a Word document or a PDF or whatever. Why not put that online? Why not have that on your page? And here's the menu, and you just click on it, because then people can kind of browse through that. They can get that sort of better feel for all that you offer, and then they can go dig in and do the online ordering.
So in terms of the ordering, if it's a small little restaurant, I mean, what's it going to cost to get that online ordering on their website?
Yeah, that's a great question, because there's so many options for this. The big pitch in the past is from sites like, well, so first of all, a lot of the point of sale products like Toast, etc. Those a lot of those have online ordering capabilities too. So first of all, you should check with your point of sale provider and see if they've got an online offering, because that'll obviously simplify it, because you've already got your menu in there. It's already in your point of sale. Then it's going to be a much simpler setup cost to do that. A big pitch for companies that are for smaller restaurants has been in the past from a lot of these aggregators. So Uber Eats is probably the one a lot of people are familiar with, but also like Grubhub, Seamless, Eat24, etc. So that's one path to go. That's an easy way to go and get both. You get the online ordering, you get the delivery, and you also get some additional marketing, because people who are just looking for delivery, some people will just go to these sites, but it comes at a price, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Because even these aggregators like Seamless, Grubhub, Eat24, those are going to come in. You're going to be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20%, and that's including the credit card cost, right? Yeah, you're going to be looking at somewhere in that neighborhood commission on those orders, and that's workable. If you're working at, say, a 40%, if you're working at a 40% food cost and you got 60% margin, you can do 15 to 20%. Uber Eats, Amazon restaurants, those are going to be more in the neighborhood of 25 to 30%. But here's, I think, the biggest thing with that is that with those aggregators, you don't get the customer. You have to keep shelling out money, keep paying those high commissions to get the visibility. You don't get their email address. You don't get to email them offers, etc., not without paying extra for it. So I'm not saying don't use those, but be mindful of the sort of hidden cost of that. If you're going to do one of those, then I would lean towards one of the less expensive ones, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15. Don't be paying more than 15 to 20% for that. You can certainly get it done, and those services are everywhere. But if you implement, so a lot of these point of sale systems have, I know a couple of them, Toast, for example, has come up with an online only offer where you don't have to buy into their whole point of sale system. They have an online ordering only option, $50 a month.
Wow.
$50 a month flat. I think also the credit card charges, but it's basically $50 a month, and that's it, right? And you own the data, you own the customer, and even at 20%, I mean, $50 a month, That's going to take you what, $250 in sales to pay, to cover that. So you know, that should be a day, much
Is
less
it
a
easy?
month.
Is it easy to integrate into existing site?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the whole thing. Is it's designed for an existing to do with an existing site. Now, what happens is you can basically, I say that it's more a matter of they actually they host the online ordering site, so you'll
Okay.
actually see it as whatever it is, toasttab or whatever.com, but it'll be, you know, yourrestaurant.toasttab.com, but you can put all of your branding, your color schemes, your logos in there. So, you know, it's pretty seamless. You know, so so I wouldn't say it's integrated in your site, but all you got to do is put online ordering.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
right. And so again, I'd go back to have the picture of your menu, have, you know, on your website menu, have menu and then online ordering. And on your menu page, have your picture of your menu, and at the bottom say order now, and have that, you know, have that button, have a couple of different places that go to, you know, go to that that hosted service.
And
The great thing there is you now own the customer, you now own the customer relationship. You have their email address. You can email them offers. You can email them invitations to follow you on Facebook and Twitter and wherever else you are. And you know, you can do all those things to continue to market directly to the people that you already know, their customers.
So do you export the email, or do they have an email system built in, or how does it work? You know?
They've got marketing capabilities built in with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
but you can also export it. So if you've already got a mailing list or whatever, you know, that you can do it either way.
Wow, that's quite a tip. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what about social media? Did they need social media?
Yes. And the reason, and I'll tie back to one other thing that you should also have on your website. A couple of the things you should have on your website is, first of all, you should have a blog, whether you call it what's new or specials or announcements, or you don't have to call it a blog, but it's basically a blog capability for keeping current information, current, you know, news, daily specials, new menu items, events, any of those kinds of things, right? And then, of course, you should also have links to your social. You should. You don't need to put the content from your social on your website, because really, basically, you should be posting anything of interest to your blog, most, you know, and then reposting that out to your social media. I think the three absolute musts for a restaurant are Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Being a restaurant is very visual. You want to take pictures of your food. You know, you can, you know, now that your dining room is open, you can take, you know, pictures of your dining room, go and say, hey, we're operating at 25% capacity, but we've got seats for you. You take pictures of your staff. There's all kinds of things that are naturally visual for a restaurant. So Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are a must. Facebook and Instagram they're so, you know, connected to each other. When you post to Instagram, even if you're doing it natively, you have the option. You also want to post it to Facebook, and it posts as a native, you know, as a native photo on Facebook too. So Twitter is the one that seems like a lot of restaurants don't understand and just, you know, kind of aren't there. Here's the big reason for Twitter. First of all, Twitter is very real time. So the people that are following you, you know, you can put out there and say, hey, we've still got brisket left, right?
Yeah, I get it.
And you can put it out there, and it's very real time, and people engage with that. The other thing is that this doesn't happen as much on Facebook, but on Twitter, tagging is a big thing. Doing the mentions. I just had this the other day. I mean, I had this happen literally this week. I was talking about a local restaurant, and I wanted to say, you know, hey, I love this particular dish at this restaurant. They didn't have a Twitter account. I couldn't even, you know, I couldn't mention the restaurant in a meaningful way because they weren't on Twitter. And so having that account there on Twitter is, and being able to post to it helps your fans promote you. It's not just about you pushing stuff out. It's a matter of, again, you know, and the thing is you can't, this is true for really for any business. I mean, unless you are really building your business around a particular platform, there certainly are people who have built their business around being Instagram influencers or being YouTubers or whatever, right? But for the typical brick and mortar business, you don't get to decide where your customers are. Your customers are wherever they are. You've got to go to where they are, right? And so that's the thing for that, and that's why I say particular Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, also set up on LinkedIn, and the reason for setting up on LinkedIn, it's not that, and you may be posting some different kind of content on LinkedIn. You may not be posting every picture with the frequency that you do on other things, but LinkedIn is going to generate business to business opportunities for you. LinkedIn might be where you find catering opportunities or employees or marketing companies, right? There's all kinds of other things. Your business is not just selling food to customers. And I think that's a thing to help restaurant owners realize, is that is not your sole business, selling food to customers who walk in your door. So if you think about sort of the B2B opportunities that come out of it, again, particularly I'm thinking of catering opportunities, yes, you should also be on LinkedIn, and maybe you focus your LinkedIn content specifically on those things about, hey, we do catering and for businesses in this area and those kinds of things. And then the other thing is I would also suggest, if you're up for it, is doing some video and doing YouTube. Now, obviously, you're not going to do video as often as you do photos. You don't have to do video every day, but you definitely should be there as well. So the musts: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, recommended, LinkedIn for B2B catering, other just local business development opportunities, just being part of your local business community, and then YouTube for video. I will say, if you do video, if you just a little aside on this, if you do video, post it natively to YouTube and natively to Facebook. Facebook gives strong favoritism to things that are posted natively there. So don't post it, don't just post it to YouTube and then share that to Facebook. Also post it natively on Facebook.
Interesting. So what should they be posting and how often?
Yeah, so Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram can largely be the same content.
Okay.
They really can, and that's going to be a couple of things. First of all, if you have any kind of daily specials, post it. You know, to fix the dish first thing in the morning, and you know, if it's going to be there for lunch, do a sample dish of it at 10 a.m. and post it. Take the picture, post it. It shouldn't take you 10 minutes it shouldn't take you 5 minutes to take a few pictures, crop it, and post it, and a quick write-up about what it is. There's a little restaurant in Smithville, which is a town of a few thousand people. I don't know if you know the movie Hope Floats, but that was about Smithville. It's about 15 minutes from me, and there's a little restaurant there, that little cafe. They post their daily specials every single day, and it drives business. And you see it on their Facebook page, and you see people going, "This looks amazing. Can't make it in today, but when are you going to be doing it again?" The engagement off of that is just through the roof. Specials, offers, events should be going through there. We talked about catering. Make sure that you've got some of those offers for, that remind people that you do catering. I've come through once a week or whatever on that. That particular would be going to, LinkedIn as well. Now, the other thing, so that's sort of the daily stuff, right? The other things you need to be doing are, you need to be doing some of telling your story, sharing your culture, sharing what you're about. And this is sort of what we call like big rock content, right? So if you're a barbecue place, tell the story of the pit master and what makes, what makes that so unique. That's where you want the video. That's where you want to take and have, and again, it does not have to be slick and overproduced, right? You don't need to pay $1,000 to have someone do this 1 3-minute video talking about your pit master. You need your phone, and you need your phone, a tripod, or a stand, or you can even get what's called a gimbal. A gimbal is a handheld device that stabilizes a camera, and that allows you. It can also be a selfie. It's like a selfie stick it's also a stabilizer, and those things are about $100, and that will do wonders for giving you quality video. And you need an LED light like this, right? You need an LED ring light, which I think I paid about $15 for on Amazon. Right?
Okay.
So you can be set up to do everything you need for a pretty decent looking, I'm not going to say professional quality, but very high quality, certainly acceptable quality, for $150 at most.
Wow.
And that's even if you want to be able to use the gimbal. If you're going to just take and set it up stationary, you just need a tripod. You need a tripod and a light, and that's it, right? And the editing tools, there's free editing tools available online, or cheap editing tools. You can get a pretty decent editing tool for $50, $50 to $100. There's the software. You don't need the pro high-end stuff. There's lots of capabilities like that. So use the videos to tell the stories. Tell the stories of your people. Tell the stories about your business. Tell the story of what's your favorite dish, your signature dish. How'd you dream? Talk to the chef. How did you dream up the whatever the like Maxine's here in Bastrop has been. Southern Living said they had the best breakfast in America, and they have a thing that's the Texas Monthly Stacker, because the Texas Monthly has been featured them too, and it's a stack of 12 pancakes. They're mini pancakes, but they do this big, huge stack. And so, take a picture of that. Show how it's made. People love seeing stuff behind the scenes. Go video in your kitchen. That's also a huge confidence builder for people that right now that you're being safe, that you're being safe and that your kitchen is clean, assuming it is. So yeah, take that video and do very simple production. Keep it short, 3 minutes, under 3 minutes, and use that to tell your story, and post that on, that you can post it on all those platforms, but just be sure you post the video natively.
And I would imagine that it would be good if they engaged with their audience as well, right?
Well, yeah, this is the other huge thing. And this is, what happens a lot of times is they'll just, they'll go in the morning and, they'll post that stuff, and then they don't get back and engaged with it. If someone is trying to figure out if you're open for lunch and they message you at 11 o'clock, you need to get back to them. So you really do have to have some timeliness for your responsiveness for that. And you can do that. There's a couple of ways you can do that. First of all, is you can set alerts on your phone, right? Is for your business accounts, let those alerts come to your phone, and then if you've got a mention on Twitter or a private message on Facebook Messenger or whatever, or whatever. So it's a little tricky in that unfortunately, with the apps on your phone, it's hard to make the distinction between, like, I only want to be notified about messages on my page, not my Facebook Messenger stuff. That can be a little tricky to do, and you can't. It's not perfect. You're going to get some other personal stuff in there as well. But as much as possible, make sure that you're getting notifications on that business communication. I'm a big fan. So a solution that you can do to help with that is if you use a social media management tool, that makes it easier to do. Because if you use a social media management tool, then you can say, okay, I'm only monitoring my page, I'm only monitoring my business Twitter account, I'm only monitoring my business Instagram, and when anything comes through on any of those, then send me an alert to my phone or an email or whatever. There's some tools that you can do. Again, this is talking about what you and I were talking about before, that really learning how to scale social media operationally. This is my sweet spot. This is what I do, whether it's for the Fortune 500 or for a small business that's trying to get beyond just using the apps on their phone.
Yeah. Any tools you'd recommend?
I am currently a big fan of a tool called Mav Social, MAVSOCIAL. I recently, kind of getting back into this space, I recently did a pretty thorough evaluation of all the social media management tools that are out there for smaller businesses. Hootsuite's probably the one everyone's familiar with. I know Sprout Social, Meet Edgar. There's a ton of tools available out there. Mav Social has really pretty much all of the capabilities that any of those others do, but there's a couple of reasons I particularly like it. First of all, so it does post natively to Instagram. That's a biggie. You've got to set your Instagram account to a business account, but being able to post from the tool to Instagram is big. Now, all the major ones can do that, but a lot of the smaller sort of startup ones, they have to become an Instagram partner to do that. So they can't all do that. So that's one of the things you want to check. But the big thing for Mav Social is that you can get an account for, I think it is $19 a month for I think up to like 10 accounts. So 10 channels. So you can have your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube. You can have all of that in one place. And again, the nice thing about it is if you're monitoring for engagement, if you're getting a lot of engagement, you can handle all of that engagement in one place. And they have a mobile app. So you can even do it from their mobile app for $19 a month. If it should be, it should be saving you that much time. It pays for itself in an incredibly short amount of time in terms of your time savings.
Well, in terms of the time, I mean, I'm sure a restaurateur, particularly the smaller one, is so busy as it is, opening up and doing everything else. What's the story there? How much time is it going to take them to do all of this?
Well, first of all, don't have the owner do it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I guarantee you there's someone there, there's a server or a hostess or something that is willing and able to do that, and pay them for it. And if they're a server, don't expect them to be doing it for the $3.30 an hour before tips that they're being paid or whatever, right? That's one thing is it doesn't have to be the owner doing it. I think there's a learning curve, right? There's a learning curve no matter what you do. But I think realistically you can get it down to, I think you can probably get it down to one person under an hour a day. And that's, I'd say 30 minutes in the morning for posting, taking the picture, getting it posted, also doing your checking, etc. And then another 15 minutes a couple of times a day, sort of checking in, and maybe you do a second post, or maybe it's just engaging with the other people who are there. But I think you're looking at a commitment of realistically, and it's not necessarily always going to take that, again, kind of once you get past the learning curve, once you get a rhythm to it. But I think you need to plan on about an hour a day of someone. Doesn't have to be the owner, but.
Great. So I know you're working with local businesses down there. So a question is, what's your contact info, and are you only working with local business, just for the audience?
Yeah. So, so on the virtual handshake agency is really focused on the social stuff and social operations. Bastrop marketing is really sort of about all of the uh, everything about helping local small businesses get online. And I've got some overlap between the teams behind me on those, but you know, whatever it is you're trying to do in that space, I can help with. I really, with the Bastrop marketing, you know, I'm not trying to. I'm really focusing on local businesses with that, and not trying to go, you know, like deep e-commerce or deep internet marketing or you know, any of that kind of stuff. I'm focused on what local businesses need to do, which is to do the fundamentals effectively, right? Making sure, you know, you don't need a $10,000 website for your local business. You need WordPress hosting for $350 a month, and a decent free theme that someone, you know, who knows what they're doing can get it up and looking decent and fitting your brand within a few hours worth of work, right?
Is that $3.50 or $3.50?
Yeah, no, you can host it for, you know, you can get your hosting for under $5 a month for your website, right? You know, to be able to, you know, intelligently figure out how to put in something like something like Toast or Chow Now or one of these things for online ordering. Just doing the fundamentals well and consistently is really what I'm focused on, and I'm also really focused on teaching companies, you know, teaching people how to fish, right? You know, you don't need to be paying someone $500 a month to run your social media for you, to some outside agency spending $500, $1,000 a month. You need to have the right tools, and you know, and devote, you know, have someone internally doing that for you.
So you're not limiting to Bastrop area people. You'd help anybody.
Yeah, I will. I mean, my outbound marketing is focused on the Bastrop area, because there are 10,000 other companies out here who do this. You know, that I don't kid myself about that, to go that I'm just, you know, the absolute, you know, there's a zillion places you can get it done. I'm particularly experienced in the social media aspect of this and operational aspect on this, but I'm particularly interested in the relationship aspect of it. How do you build, you know, not just you know, how do you be part of the community, right? How do you use the social media and your website, not to just take orders and make food, but to be a part of the community and to engage your customers who are in your community. And then again, I'm particularly interested in, I want to teach you how to fish. I want to set it up so that you can run it, and maybe we check in once a quarter or once a year or whatever. I'm not trying to, for me, set up this recurring revenue where I've got you, you know, or I've got you on the hook for, you know, this big monthly chunk. So yes, I'm happy to help local businesses anywhere. Those are the things that are going to distinguish me from any of the other, you know, 10,000 places you can get your website and social media done.
Obviously, we're not just talking about restaurants. That's the focus of our discussion, but it could be anything. Like for years, there's a auto repair company that in our community. I mean, anybody, right? I mean, just broadly speaking. Yeah.
We didn't even talk about, I was going to say, we didn't even talk about reviews.
We didn't. That's true.
Figuring out how to manage reviews and keep up with reviews and respond to reviews. Responding to reviews is huge. Especially if you get negative reviews, giving a good response and figuring out how to handle it. So Oh man, there's some horror stories you've probably seen of some restaurants that have not handled their negative reviews well.
Yeah. Oh,
um,
it's
so some guidance about that as far as, and again, there's some tools, there's tools that allow you to, there's so many platforms, right? You can have Google reviews, Yelp, Facebook, etc. So again, it's another little small expense, but there are tools where you can monitor all your reviews in one place and and so you're notified when they come up, wherever they may come up, and you can go handle them in a timely manner. So
to ask another secret sauce question, what some tools? Can you mention some?
there's there's one called Vendasta, Vendasta, that has some reputation monitoring and review management. There's another one. There's a couple of others. I'll put something together as a follow up for some resources for it. Not recalling off the top of my head, but
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me how people would get in touch with you?
Sure. I'm on. You can go to bastropmarketing.com and you can explore around there and send me a message through there, or you can contact me at Scott SCOTT at thevirtualhandshake.com. And I'm also, of course, on social media. There's a lot of Scott Allens on there. On LinkedIn, I am the one that actually is just linkedin.com/in/Scott Allen. So I actually have Scott Allen on LinkedIn, and I have Scott Allen on Twitter. On Facebook, it's Scott Allen Social. So
Hey, the last thing is, I hear you're coming out with an updated version of Virtual Handshake.
yeah, it seems timely. Something about 2020 seems like a very good year to talk about seeing things clearly for the future. When we did the Virtual Handshake, think about a book about social media coming out in 2005, and we didn't want to write a book that had an 18-month shelf life, so we didn't really focus on the tools. We didn't really focus heavily on, Facebook was brand new. Skype was the only video call platform around. I mean, it was voice. Skype was voice at that point. They didn't even have video calling at that point. So if you read the current version of the book, everything that's in it is timely and relevant, but the examples that are in it are from a lot of sites that nobody's ever heard of or don't remember, like Rise or Academy or MySpace. And so part of it is a matter of updating those success stories, but part of it is also a matter of some of the new things that we've learned over 15 to 20 years of doing this. And so we've, in particular, one of the things that a lot of my consulting work is focused on is how to build strong relationships online. Not just, we're connected on LinkedIn because someone sent me an invitation and I'm an open networker, so I accepted it.
Yeah.
How do you build strong relationships online? How do you build relationships that lead to conversations like this, right?
Yeah.
How do you build, things that lead to partnerships and actually doing 6 and 7 figure business together? So I think there's going to be a lot more emphasis and some case studies and stories in the book, particularly about not just sort of open networking, light casual conversation, but building the kind of relationships online that actually, get business done.
When's the book coming out?
We're planning to have it out by end of year. We're going through and editing we've identified all the things in the book that we want to update, and we're looking for stories and things, people to do that, and we're pitching a couple of publishers, and we'll see if we get it with a major publisher. If not, we can self-publish. It's not that hard to do, but we'll definitely have it out by end of the year.
Great. Well, Scott, thanks so much. Stick around for a minute, but thank you for sharing this with you, and maybe we're going to save my local restaurant.
Fantastic.
Great. Hang on. Thank you.